Well, let me give you the rosy picture on the metals. All is not lost, believe it or not. We're seeing the markets tank. Actually, they went down to some seriously low levels that they haven't been down in quite a while. So, first off, that looks like one prediction that's coming true. They are rolling over. You look like an idiot when when it's a bull market is going on at the time. Anybody that predicts a downturn during a long bull market looks like an idiot until it actually happens. Then they look smarter. We haven't actually seen the bottom yet, but I just want to paint you a little more rosy picture here for the metals, because the metals aren't getting as hit as much as the equities are. And I am going to give you a lot more facts in this, even though we're going to present it in a lighthearted way. I do not like presenting things in with too many charts and all this kind of garbage. And just like people to kick back and kind of relax and not freaking worry too much about what's going on in the world, because we've had problems like this and far more severe, okay? So just think about, hey, this is just a little bit of a get-together here. We're in the Harley shop, and we got the mechanic on duty here, lounging on the bike, taking a break, okay? Just paint the picture for you. So anyway, I just want to point out one chart here, though. This is actually, I'll point to the link on this. This is a pretty cool chart. The situation, though, hasn't changed much over the last couple of years. But you can actually sort this chart by, it has all the different countries. You could sort it by GDP, the inflation rate, the interest rates, the jobless rate, the government budget, the debt to GDP ratio. Now, right now, I have this sorted by the debt to GDP ratio. I'm going to put the link in the comments and also in the information box. You can look at this, because I want to call attention to this. But, the situation hasn't changed that much over the years, right? So, anyway, Japan, they're embarking on like the super QE, as we pointed out before. Now, I want to point out something here about the United States. It's 100%. It's a little over 100% debt to GDP. Now, you look at Belgium right next to it, as far as about 101% to debt to GDP. Belgium is the one that actually took up the slack for China buying the bonds. Now, look at their GDP compared to the USA. How did they take up the slack for China buying U.S. debt when you got China's debt is, they're showing 508 for Belgium and 1600 for USA. And China is over the USA by far, okay? How did Belgium take up the slack for buying the debt? Now, this is something I mentioned in a couple other videos. When the Belgium became the buyer for the bonds to keep the interest rates low, because if nobody bought the bonds, the interest rates would have to go up, right? They'd be discounted or something. Well, you know what's going on. It's actually the U.S. government was buying them. So QE has not actually been backed off. But it's not reflected in the price in the metals. Now, I'm going to get on to some other things here, too, because as we kick back on the bike here, okay, I don't want people to freak out too much about stuff, because you get burned out about freaking out about stuff. That's Alex Jones style. That's not Sin 7 style, okay? But anyway, I want to also state some things about sit rep, basically, on the planet here, basically, if we give it that way. Putin's kind of backing off on the Ukraine, right? What's going on is you see the oil prices are down to like $80 a barrel on the WTI. He's getting hurt bad. Now, he didn't consult with me, but he doesn't listen to my channel. But anyway, the thing is, if I was going to charge him for some consulting fees, him personally, he could pay me in big bucks, Palladium or something, nuggets or something, I would tell him, since Russia is a big gas station and they get about 50% of their cash income from oil exports, and what's hurting them right now, why Putin's playing ball, is because of oil prices going way down. I can't prove this about oil prices being deliberately manipulated down to basically bring Putin in line. And he is going in line, it looks like, I can't prove it, but let me just say, I've been around enough business stuff to kind of have a good sense of what's going on. But if I was Putin, if I was in his shoes, and I was like saying, I would get some of the spec nats to dress up like ISIS, blow up some oil refineries in Saudi Arabia, blow up an oil tanker right smack in the middle of the Straits of Hormuz, say it was some Taliban ISIS rebels that did it, and I'd be smiling all the way to the bank. That's what I would do. You know, it's evil, but that's what I would do. Anyway, hopefully you don't listen to my channel because that's a damn good idea. Because that's what's hurting him right now, and that's why he's backing off, because of the oil prices. You know, I'm going to tell you this right now. They've been talking. I'm showing a classic car here because I want to get onto something with the automotive industry. But the thing is, they've been, you know, a lot of people are saying that the demand isn't there for the oil. Oh, bullshit! I'm going to tell you this right now. Our economy, they say our economy is recovering, right? They say the unemployment rate is much lower and stuff. It hasn't been this low since 2008. They're saying that the same thing in the UK. Well, if the unemployment rate is lower, that means the economy is recovering, right? Actually, that's actually the unemployment rate that's on the government unemployment rolls, not actually the participation rate is actually really low. But if they're talking about recovery, well, how come demand is way low? You know, it didn't change that much over the last year. So, you know, like I'm telling you right now, they're deliberately bringing down the oil prices. And I do have a video on that they've had long-standing 10-year lawsuits, even by the former head of the NYMEX, trying to sue because of all the corruption in the oil markets. They brought him down on purpose to hurt Putin, and now he's coming in line. Now, I could have told you what I'd do if I was his situation, but I'm not him. So, and he don't listen to my channel because that would be a major breach of security if he did. Anyway, but I'm going to tell you this, though. Another indication that things are not really doing so well is the automotive industry, actually in the used classic cars, not even the classic cars, but say the used cars, are actually, it looks like they're rolling over. The demand is just totally rolling over. Now, the new cars are actually still selling, but usually that portends that new cars are not going to be selling. Now, I'm going to tell you something why that's related to the metals, because when we saw in 1970s and late 70s, what happened was big ticket items, the sales plummeted, and we had stagflation. We don't really have inflation right now, per se, but it pretends that that's coming up. So in other words, when you want to dump some silver, you might want to get maybe you want to get a classic car or a good used car as with part of it, not as your total investment, but part of it, you know, part of it. I personally might, I don't know. I got just several cars I just keep around. But the thing is, that's another indication that the economy's doing bad. The used car market is rolling over, which means that usually portends that the new car market will be rolling over. The only reason the new car market is actually continuing is because of low interest rates. If interest rates go up, the 90% of the new car market will actually 90% of 90 to 95% of all new cars sold are financed with monthly payments. So if interest rate goes up, goodbye that industry too. Besides the real estate industry. So anyway, that's another thing. And actually, this is something that you might want to think about with some of your silver, a small portion. You know. So anyway, but I just want to tell you this: the economy is not kickstarting, man. It's definitely not kickstarting. It's bullshit. The stuff that people have been telling you, like with Mark Farber and stuff, with even some of the other ones I don't like. I don't want to mention names because when I say I don't like them, then people go, "Oh, you." But there's a lot of people have been saying that they've just been covering up the problems with, you know, QE and buying up the Fed going in there, buying up stocks. They're not really kickstarting the economy like they should be. Like old girl here is kickstarting a Triumph. They're not doing that. They're basically just cut paper and over things. Like, you know, I know that's a cliche and everything, but that's really what the hell is going on. Now, I'm going to look at these markets real quick. Actually, Palladium and Platinum took a big hit, especially Palladium. Now, I'm going to tell you why Palladium actually took a big hit. It's not over the demand issue. Demand didn't change at all, really, over the last few days. What happened is Russia's making it, probably going to be pulling back in Ukraine. And also the Russians have agreed to work with the West to fight ISIS. Like I said, I would be doing that if I was the Russians, man. But I don't want to give. They're not listening to my channel anyway, so. But I told you what I'd be doing, man. Something would blow up in the Middle East and the oil go way up, and I'd be like, "Hey, we got cash." But here the Dow was actually in the 15,000 range. Now, just a couple weeks ago, it was up in the 17,000 range. It's taking major hits. Now it recovered a little bit today, but it's taking major hits. The Dow is actually taking far more major hits than what? Gold? Is gold taking a major hit? No, gold's up slightly. Now you see the industrial metals are down a little bit, but like I said, the palladium's going down a lot because the tensions in Russia have been eased. I don't know how long that deal is going to go on though, because the thing is with Russia, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. There's people, like Vladimir Putin is really basically New World Order, basically. But I have a suspicion that as long as the West can control the situation in Russia, they're going to play the New World Order. If they do not control the situation in Russia, Russia's going to lash out and be more like an enemy. That's how I see the situation. Actually, if you go way back with Anatoly Golitsyn, you'll see that the Major Anatoly Golitsyn, he talked about they counted on total financial collapse in the West. And that's when they're going to actually be a problem. Russia's going to be a problem. So as far as the five metals, these are the five metals. Rhodium is actually in the background here. You can't see her. But you got gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They will all run up together. And just want to have it like, in other words, if you think, and I know one of my subscribers says that, they want to trade gold and silver for platinum later on. But the problem is, pretty much they all run together. You're going to see all the commodities pretty much run together. Not like in unison exactly, but if you look back in 1979, they definitely did. The only exception I saw was back in 2001 when Palladium had an astronomically good run because there was rumors that the Russian stockpiles were running out, and that was the problem. So actually, Palladium could really do something astronomical. When the Russian stockpiles run out, Palladium will be worth probably slightly more than platinum, which will be worth more than gold. 1.4 times to twice the price of gold. So anyway, the metals are looking good. All five of them are looking excellent. Along in the engine of the economy, it's just a big show engine, just like in this car here. Probably don't run that good. I don't know. Actually, the U.S. economy is not totally bad off like a lot of people think because, China passed us. But, most of China is like total export, and they don't have a domestic economy. And the situation is if the U.S. starts buying more internally, goodbye Chinese economy, you know what I mean? Only thing you got to do to change the whole freaking situation in the U.S. around is to get rid of a lot of regulation or get a lot of smart entrepreneurs that know how to go around the regulation. That's the type of things that women like, people that know how to get around regulations, right? Right, girls? Anyway, bye. Anyway, so as we're speeding around the corner here, I'm going to tell you, though, that the thing is, with silver, we do know it can really throw you for a loop a lot of times. Nobody expected back in 2011, especially around April, that it would be at $17 today, years later in 2014. Nobody. But I'm going to tell you this, it could do just the opposite. The problem is you're going to be scared to sell. And I know one thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to guess the exact top. It's going to be like, you're going to have to be damn lucky. Or did you even get anywhere near the top? Because when it goes up, it's going to go up far more than you freaking think. And I keep saying it's the Middle East is the key. But Russia, I really don't know what these guys, if I was Putin, I tell you right now, I'd definitely be like, get a war going in the Middle East because we need a lot of cash here in Russia to build up our resources. I don't know why he's not thinking like that. I don't know. Maybe he's stupid. I don't know, man. But I don't want to give him any free advice because he don't listen to S7 over here. But anyway, just remember that the only place that's really free is still the USA. And keep your guns, keep your bikes, keep your choppers, keep your this good old shovelhead, and keep your old classic cars, and defend the stars and stripes. Because a lot of people think that through Russia Today propaganda that they're the beacon of light of hope in the world. Hell no, man. If you freaking think it's skewed because of the 1% elite in the United States are screwed up, and I do think they're screwed up, okay? A lot of them are. The Russians, man, the only reason Russia is really, they're strong because they got a lot of resources developed by the West, but the reason is they don't have a diversified economy. And that's because 110 oligarchs own 35% of the wealth. So, and I think a lot of times people ought to just focus in on other things, because sometimes these highfalutin, wealthy yo-yos, they're just a bunch of idiots that try to show that they're better than everybody else, and they aren't. And that's really what it comes down to, man. I mean, I'd be rather driving one of these cars or this bike than a freaking Bentley that cost me almost $300,000. That was a convertible that had heated seats and crap. It's a bunch of bullshit. And, as far as Hollywood starlets, they're a bunch of bullshit, too. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, I just want to state, though, the reason I stay with silver, because, first off, it's not just a financial investment only. It's a tried and true investment where it's down home earth type thing. It's something that's been around for thousands of years, and it's real. It's not fluff. I'd rather have, that's just how I think. I'd rather have old school stuff, and silver's old school all the way. But again, I just want to call your attention to, what the hell is it over here? Not the markets again, because this thing, Trading Economics, I'll show you the site. That's what it's called, tradingeconomics.com. Now, I mean, I'm not playing here like, I have some financial association with these guys or nothing. But I'm saying it's a pretty cool site. But you're not going to see things change too much over the years here with the situation now. But it's blaringly staring you right in the face. The debt to the GDP is screwed up in all the big developed nations. The Euro area, the whole, like they just call it the Euro area, right? It's 92%. So debt is everywhere. And Russia doesn't have the debt, right? But the problem is they don't have the economy, and the reason Russia should be doing damn great. I'm going to tell you this. I don't want to knock Russia because I think the Russian people are cool, but where they're screwed up is they got 110 oligarchs, and I said this before, to have 35% of the wealth. And they're freaking screwing everybody else over there, man. I mean, they got a lot of smart people over there. Ideally, I'm going to tell you this. I put a lot of anti-Putin videos out, but I don't have nothing against Russia. Ideally, I'd like to see the Russia more like the good old USA, where they can just kind of be themselves and do their own thing. That's the way I would like to see it. I'm against the oligarchs in Russia. Basically, that's what it comes down to. And I'm for the people. So that's just the way I look at it in the United States too. We got a bunch of yo-yos on both sides of the world that are controlling us. And the thing is, when we think about this situation, it's not like East versus West. It's not one religion versus the other. It's basically just good common sense truth and treating people the way you want to be treated, right? Isn't that kind of the way it goes? I mean, that's pretty much simple 101. That could be Jesus' teaching, but that could be anybody's teaching too. That could be Buddha. That could be some Indian tribes, American Indian teaching too, right? You want to be treated the way, you should treat people the way you would want to be treated, right? So that's the way that's my whole philosophy in succinctly put. And, the silver is going to go up because the people on the top in the financial markets, the best thing to do is to get away from their Hollywood garbage and stay in with real. Real is this bike. Real is this hot mechanic that's sitting on the bike. And real is silver. One of these days, the paper fluff markets are going to go away. But the problem is, you got to make sure a lot of people are available with skills to actually do things that are important to people to exchange the silver for. the Wall Street, people that tell you, oh yeah, I know everything about this and that, or I know everything about, you know, stupid giddy rumors in Hollywood. Those kind of people aren't going to do you any good. It's the hands-on people that are going to know the stuff. And that goes back to even the Roman 101. When Rome fell apart, it was the blacksmith that knew who was far more important than somebody that was just an orator that knew all the Greek prose from way back when. And it comes right down to that. And I promise to be doing some more videos on hands-on stuff here. I continually hope to do it, and the weather has broken, so I can do some more stuff on that, which will be cool. Anyway, over and out. Keep the faith. Don't worry about the bull crap on the markets exactly. And beware of sheep in wolf's clothing, like Pastor LW, man. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that talk religion and don't actually do it. Anyway, over and out.